Well, a very good Sunday afternoon to everybody, and hope that you're doing well today. And if you want to go ahead and open up with me today to Matthew chapter 25 is where we're going to be, where we picked up, or left off, rather, last week as we read chapter 24 of Matthew. And so we're going to continue into chapter 25, which is a continuation of what Jesus was saying there in chapter 24. And so remember in Matthew 24, that we looked at in the last video, Jesus was predicting the destruction of the temple and of Jerusalem and all that was going to be coming upon the people, and the signs of the times and the tribulation that was coming and the coming of the Son of Man, and being ready for that time to come. And now, as he continues in that same vein, the same thought, here in chapter 25, he's going to give a series of parables. There are three parables or illustrations that he's going to give here in the rest of chapter 25 that are important for us to remember. I want to take these one at a time. And so today we're going to look at this first one, beginning in Matthew 25, verse 1, when Jesus says that the kingdom of heaven will be likened to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. So you have this picture, you have this scene of a wedding that's going to be going on, and they're waiting for the bridegroom, and there's 10 of them, he says, these 10 virgins. And it says in verse 2, Jesus says that 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. Well, in what way were they wise, or what way were they foolish? Well, he tells us in verse 3, those who were foolish took their lamps, but they didn't take any oil with them. They didn't take any extra oil, or they didn't take any that they might need. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. But while the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and they slept. And then at midnight, a cry was heard, "Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him." Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps and got everything ready. But the foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out, running out. We didn't bring extra oil. Let us have some of yours." But the wise answered and said, "No, lest there should not be enough for us and you, but go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding, and the door was shut. Afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered and said, "Assuredly I say to you, I do not know you." And so Jesus gives this parable, again likening the kingdom of heaven, likening the who's going to be in the kingdom of heaven and who's not. And he sets it up with this wedding scene, and there's 10 virgins. They're waiting for the bridegroom. 5 of them, again, they didn't take everything they needed. 5 of them did. Then the bridegroom was delayed, and so then they slept, and the lamp's burning, and then they're in the midnight. They're, didn't expect it. Midnight, the bridegroom shows up. They got to go out, but the lamps are running out of the 5 foolish virgins who didn't bring extra oil. And while they go out to buy some, well, it's really too late. The 5 who were wise, who were prepared, they were ready when the bridegroom came, and they went in when it was time. They were allowed to be in there in the wedding, but the 5 foolish were left out. So what is Jesus getting at here with this? Well, he tells us in verse 13, he tells them, "Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming." Watch, be ready. That's the message. We don't know when the Son of Man is coming. I mean, for us even today, we don't know when Jesus is coming back. But we've got to be ready. And we do that by living our lives for the Lord, living the way God calls us to, being faithful to God and following His will, and realizing that, this life is temporary. whether by death or by the coming of Jesus. It'll come to an end one day. But this message of watching and waiting, of being prepared, as Jesus says, you don't know the day or the hour the Son of Man is coming, but if you're ready at all times, right? Even if, these virgins, the 5 who did have extra oil, they were prepared. They were ready, whatever came, whatever happened, they were going to be ready to go. There were 5 who were not ready. They didn't have everything they needed. And so they were left out of this wedding. Well, Jesus is telling us, telling us, that if we are not ready for that day to come, if they weren't ready when these things happen, if we're not ready when Jesus comes, we're going to be left out. That's why we've got to prepare now. We've got to know God. We've got to know His will, know the saving grace through Jesus, and be living for God each day, knowing that any day could be our last, knowing that one day we're going to stand before God. We've got to be ready so that we can enter the eternal kingdom of heaven and be with God for eternity. But are we watching? Are we waiting? Are we expecting that to happen? Are we living our lives for the Lord? We've got to be like these 5 wise virgins who were prepared, who were ready at all times. Don't be like the 5 foolish who weren't ready, who didn't do what they needed to do. So we've got to find out the will of God and be ready. Do the will of God, be ready at all times. And that's what Jesus says here. And then we're going to look at a couple more in the next 2 Sundays, Lord willing. We'll look at a couple more ways that Jesus presents that and some parables of what's coming and being ready for that to come. So let's think about this. Let's be watching. Let's be waiting, living for the Lord each day, so that when He does come, if He comes in our lifetime or we leave this earth, we'll be ready no matter what. God bless. Take care.